Morally bankrupt is what you are, killing civilians from afar. Is it because you are corrupt? Receiving money from Kofi and AIPAC? Is that why you support this attack? Your election campaign financed? Israel's propaganda advanced? Or is it that they are such a good client? For buying your arms they are a giant. Fueling the Israeli war machine, killing children is so mean. The US turns a blind eye to the bombs falling from the sky. Homes, hospitals and schools are destroyed. It's US bombs that are deployed. Morally bankrupt is Joe Biden. The world can see you, there's no hiding. Watching live a genocide, the world is not at your side. Mosques, churches and ambulances are being hit. It's illegal, it's not legit.
I'm not a content creator and I don't have a following and I doubt anyone's going to see this, but I wanted to say that I have cried more in the last 3 weeks seeing what is happening to the people in Gaza and learning more about the history of their struggle than I have at any time in my life, with the exception of the death of my little sister 13 years ago. I don't know anyone in Palestine. I don't even know any Palestinians. But I am never going to forget this any more than I would forget my little sister. And I am never, ever going to forgive those responsible. And I know I am not alone in this. I see people on here with tears in their eyes. I see the grief. We will never, ever forgive. And for those of you who still somehow vote blue no matter who, I would no more vote for Joe Biden than I would for the black ice that sent my sister's car into a ditch. You better move, 'cause we aren't.
I'm Will Lehman, and I'm currently on strike at Mack Trucks in Macungie, Pennsylvania. Last year I ran for president of the United Auto Workers Union, and I unequivocally denounced the Israeli government's ongoing slaughter of the people of Palestine, which has the full backing of the US government and both capitalist political parties. What is taking place is nothing less than a war crime, and the working class must be alerted and mobilized to stop it. 2 weeks ago, Palestinian General Federation of Trade Unions issued a statement to trade unions in relevant industries, asking workers of the world to refuse to build weapons destined for Israel, refuse to transport weapons to Israel, to take action against complicit companies involved in implementing Israel's brutal and illegal siege. I fully endorse this appeal and demand the United Auto Workers cease production of all equipment intended for the Israeli military. When production of munitions and military equipment for Israel is stopped, all workers in the affected factories must be paid 100% of their salaries by the corporations who have profited from contracts with the perpetrators of war crimes.
I have something I want to say to the people of Palestine. Falastiiiin. I understand that, I am an insignificant random white dude on an app. But I see what's going on. And I speak up on however I can. But I want something to be understood. Palestine, it may have lines on the map, but the moment you claimed to be Palestinian, Palestine is here. Palestine lives in you. As long as there is Palestinian blood in your veins, Palestine lives. As long as you have breath in your lungs, Palestine lives. The world sees what Israel is doing right now. Israel. Period. The world sees it. And we are speaking up more and more on the atrocities that are taking place towards the Palestinian people
Are our politicians dumb and brainwashed? Or are they just evil and bloodthirsty? Because, like, look, I know that there are people in the government, a lot of people who are white supremacists, racist, right? Like, but are there politicians that are so dense that they're just listening to whatever the hell lobbyists or military personnel tell them, and they're just buying it? Like, we're still parroting Hamas is using civilians as a human shield. Sorry to disappoint you, Elizabeth, but, like, Israel's just bombing. They're just dropping bombs because this is just a game to them. They want the land, dude. They're dropping bombs because they want the land, and they hate Arabs and they hate Muslims. They're trying to sweep it, bro. They're just bombing. They're not even targeting Hamas, dude. That's just a fucking lie. They're just killing. They're just killing. Like, I don't know what to tell you. The grass is green. The sky is blue. I have intimacy issues, and genocide is happening in Palestine at the hands of the Israeli military, and also, by the way, the United States government. So, like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm at a loss for words. It's really fucking disgusting. And all these politicians should never have peace in public for the rest of their fucking lives, because this is fucking bullshit, man. It's really horrible. And if anybody's watching this right now, they're like, Reed, why are you getting so emotional? Oh, I don't know. Because this is fucking genocide, bro.
I'm an American Jew. Let me tell you why I unconditionally support Palestine. Growing up, I remember hearing about how Jewish people were excluded from public life. In 1935, the Nuremberg laws were put into effect. It stripped German Jews of their citizenship and their right to marry Germans. In 2018, the Israeli nation-state law was passed. It downgraded Arabic and established settling in the national interest. There was a ban on intermarriage, and groups like Lahava, which are responsible for pogroms on the ground, terrorize anybody who tries to marry, and often just anybody who's Palestinian. My grandparents told me stories about how in 1939, all Jews were forced to wear a Star of David. It made them an easier target, easier to identify. Palestinians are forced to have specific ID cards which indicate their level of access. Palestinian vehicles have to have different colored license plates which indicate which roads they are or not allowed to drive on. Following the invasion of Poland, Jews were forced into ghettos, barbed wire, fences, cut off from the rest of society. They faced shortages of food, water, and medicine, and they lived in constant fear. Gaza has been under blockade from food, water, and medicine. In 1939, the Germans bombed the Warsaw Ghetto. For the last 2 decades, the Israeli occupation has been relentlessly bombing the Gaza Strip, in a tactic that they refer to as mowing the lawn. All Jewish history is about rooting for the underdog. If you supported the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, then you understand oppressed people wanting to free themselves. Do you think the Maccabees are more aligned with the Palestinians or the Israeli occupation? I don't know about you guys, but I'm old enough to remember when Jews rooted for David and not Goliath.
75 years of human rights abuses. With US support, you have no excuses. Abusing your Security Council veto. This the whole world needs to know. Denying rights to Palestine. This is on you. It's your crime. We can see your hypocrisy. Israel is not a democracy. Ethnic cleansing and apartheid. The world can see it, and we know it's not right. Morally bankrupt, spending billions on weapons of war used on civilians. How can you sleep at night? Do you not see their plight? It's not too late to do what's right. You have the power to end this fight. Israel does it with your aid. 1 million children are afraid. How would you feel if it was your family suffering this calamity? Do you think that with all your might, killing children is something right? Starving an entire population doesn't cause you any frustration?
Impunity is the handmaiden to extremism. All of what we see is possible because the country acting in violation of international law is not held accountable. And therefore there is a choice for Europe, for this body. And the choice is whether to insulate its bilateral relations with Israel from Israel's illegal actions, or whether those are placed front and center of that bilateral relationship. Obviously, the path that has been chosen is the former. That leads to complicity.
The West lectures us about freedom of speech when they're Islamophobic, but will do everything they can to silence all criticism of Israel. I'd rather have freedom of thought than the freedom of speech they claim to have. Media and governments in the West have brainwashed people into believing that Palestinian lives don't matter, that Muslim lives don't matter, that people of color's lives don't matter. When all of this is over and done with, and our grandkids are looking back at us, who will they say was free?
As Israel commits war crimes, how can you support it and feel fine? Morally bankrupt is what you are.
I have to thank Israel. I'm serious. Before you get mad at me, you all need to thank Israel. Thank you, Israel. Not for killing over 4,000 Palestinian children in the last month, not for indiscriminately bombing Gaza, and not even for subjecting Palestinians to more than 75 years of violence, but thank you for opening our eyes. I've always been pro-Palestine. My parents taught me to stand for what's right, but I got caught up in life and forgot what really matters. So, thank you for reminding the world that every life is sacred, that in 2023 there is no space for settler colonialism. Thank you for showing the world that you openly, proudly, and consistently commit crimes against humanity and are happy subjecting the Palestinian people you haven't already killed or forced to flee to inhumane conditions. Because of you, the world is changing. The tables are turning and the side of Palestine and humanity is stronger than ever. Free Palestine.
I just wanted to give everyone an update on what's going on at the port of Tacoma. We have currently barricaded the entrance to the port. We needed to do this because there is a genocide ship preparing to leave the harbor. Before they leave the harbor, their intention was to load the weapons onto the ship. Those weapons are going directly to Gaza in order to commit genocide. There are 10,000 civilians dead, thousands under rubble right now. Can you imagine 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds under rubble waiting to die? That's disgusting.
Hello everyone, today we are going to do freedom of speech recipe. Please write down the ingredients. With a spoon of French Emmanuel Macron that has a high amount of arrest if you're protesting for Palestine and very low calories of liberté, égalité, fraternité. A big cup of Biden water that flows like the tax money from the people to a genocide. Sprinkle few reporters on the ground acting, actors like Zelensky. The masquerade of fake values to conduct public affairs for personal advantages. Don't forget to add a little bit of intimidation and death threats just to spice the flavor. Wrap the ingredients so far in politics. It's the art of looking for trouble, finding them everywhere, make a bad diagnose, and giving the wrong remedies. What a shocker, but it gives a very, very good taste of treason. A quarter of brainwashing. This is for the snowflakes who believe everything on TV, but as long as they have their gluten-free, penguin, non-offensive bread, everything is okay. Drop of speech that you hate. And careful here because the ingredients are tricky. It's very different, a hate speech and a speech that you hate. Don't forget to add a spoon of human rights, but remember it's not a universal ingredient. It depends on the skin color, country, religion. Very important, if you have bread right beside you, check it between the slices. Maybe Hamas is hiding there. That's why the bombing of bakeries. And if you have medicine in the house, that's a perfect place to hide. The hospital bombings make sense. Back to our recipe. Add a problem made of lies and make sure to cook it on the news every night. Well cooked. Remember the ingredient of censorship and the race card. Just in case you want to sell this cake, it's selling very good. Mix it very good and cook it for 1 month and 75 years. Now slice it, and I'm sure if you're a Zionist you're gonna take 2 slices, but if you cannot stomach my recipe, you can try it with lemons or with a blood burger from McDonald's. Bon appetit!
My dear Palestinian friends, listen to me. The world is changing. You won. You Palestinians, you Gazans, you people who are in a concentration camp, you have made a revolution in the United States of America. America will never be the same. I promise you. I promise you, I see it. You changed America, let alone defeated Israel. You changed the world. You paid a very, very painful price for it. And the world owes you that. And every American owes you that because you're liberating the United States of America. Forget about everybody else. You Gazans have liberated the United States of America. I promise you that. Do not accept anything less than from the river to the sea. All of it. You should be ruling the world. You're the only people who are fighting for freedom and liberty. And everybody else is playing lip service. You guys defeated the United States of America. There was no power that could have done that. The Gazans did that. God bless you, my brothers. I feel liberated already. There's things I couldn't say that I can say now. Our politicians are running scared. I'm getting letters from Biden's campaign begging me to stay with them. It's not gonna happen. I'll vote for my flip-flops before I vote for Biden or Trump